I'm Dina Grilo, the mayor of the borough of East Newark in Hudson County. Growing up in East Newark, I moved there in the 4th grade, so I attended the East Newark Elementary School. It was a great community. We had a nice recreation center. The kids were always out playing. We were all over town. The parents knew where we were, and I've continued to live there. I love the community. It did take a little bit of a change, and that's why I became mayor. I put my hat in the ring because we wanted to bring back that real hometown feeling. We're a small but mighty community. Everyone knows everybody. We come together when we have to. You know, when COVID hit, it was everyone just came together, and that's what the community is all about. So beating the incumbent of 32 years and becoming the first mayor of the borough was very exciting. However, it wasn't the top of mind for me. So when I ran on the platform to fix the community, right? And that's what we should do. You should run based on the change you want to make, not whether you're going to become the first woman, the first person to do this. Someone actually brought it to my attention, and afterwards I realized the significance of what happened during the campaign, even the day of the election. It was very exciting. And you know what? If this opens doors for young women to see that, hey, you're in a male-dominated world, so it looks like, right? We're here. We just need to rise up to these leadership roles. Then if I open one door for one girl, that's great. As a child, did I think I'd ever become mayor? No. I absolutely never considered any kind of political position. Politics fascinated me from, sit on the couch level. I listened to it, I enjoyed it. I think civic engagement is extremely important for everyone to be part of. I just built a brand. People knew me. As I mentioned before, I've grown up in that town. I haven't left. I traveled the world for work, which is very, very exciting. And people realized the skills I had could be transferred to the leadership as mayor, and they asked me to run, so I did. But I will say, I think civic engagement really should be part of every curriculum. Everyone should be involved in some way, whether it's a committee, whether you run for council person, whether you run for mayor, and move on to assembly person and senator, wherever the road takes you. But if you want your voice heard, you need to be involved. And that's what happened. I did have concerns, residents had concerns. They asked me to run, and I did it really based on change. So when I campaigned and I said, if I win, we're gonna work, we're gonna roll up our sleeves, we're gonna make change. If I lost, no sweat off my back, I did it. I raised awareness at the very least. I raised awareness that change was needed in the community. Fortunately, I won, and I have assembled a great team, because no leader is good on their own. They need to have a really good team with them, and I do. And we've made some great changes. We brought back a lot of great community events. More kids are getting involved. They think it's cool to see a woman mayor. So if you think it's cool, come on into my office. Let's talk about how you can get involved. Volunteer, get involved in sports, and we're bringing all that back in the community. Sure, so my work in volunteerism with Ascolese International, particularly the New York chapter and the New Jersey chapter. Ascolese International is an organization that partners athletes with disabilities. So weekly we would partner up with some athletes with disabilities, go to Central Park. We'd either walk or run, depending how you feel. And you would guide the athletes, and I particularly guided mostly. I had a wonderful gentleman named Tom, and he was an individual who was blind, and we ran, and I guided him at some 5Ks as well, the Ascolese races. I think it's important to volunteer and to see how others live and get a different perspective, right? So fortunate for us who can see, can hear, have mobility, but when you truly realize what a blessing it is to have all of those parts of you, it changes your perspective on how you look at life, how you look at approaching work, your decisions, and I think it's really important to volunteer. Sure, so my experience as a student of the High-Tech High, which was when I became a student in the performing arts, it was known as the Hudson County Vocational Technical School. Now it's a wonderful high school with a lot more high-tech and fancy departments, which I think is super exciting. I started out, we were the inaugural class of dance and theater, and it was my junior year in high school. It was part of the vocational program. It was the only courses at the time that we could take while taking college prep. I was very excited. We auditioned, and the first year I did dance, and my last year I did theater. What's exciting about both of those programs, it really builds your confidence. It also, I met a slew of people, some that are still remain friends from all across Hudson County that we normally wouldn't have, our paths wouldn't have crossed if we weren't in the same class. I'm very excited to see how far the school has come and how where all of you are today. It's very, very, very impressive. So how did the borough handle COVID? Well, there was no playbook for this pandemic, right? I took office January 2020. By March 2020, the state of New Jersey was shut down. The world was shut down. I am very fortunate in my day job to work in a large company, and you know, taking what I learned from there, we were shut down before the state of New Jersey was shut down. We were able to really just assess the situation, take all the precautions. We shut down the borough. We actually put into place a emergency food pantry, an emergency hotline for our seniors and any persons with disabilities. So we got them food, medicine, masks. We did, you know, day by day, we were very agile. There were many calls with the government. You know, I think that the governor did the best he could. Our senators, our assembly folks, all leaders did the best they could. And it was an ever-changing situation, right? So there was really no right or wrong all the time. But we worked remote in some situations. We shut down the borough. We did by appointments. Our police officers and fire officials and personnel had all the proper equipment that they needed, so when they were out, they were as protected as we could be. We tried our best to monitor our cases, and unfortunately we did lose residents, and which was hard for that because we are a tight-knit community. They were, you know, parents of your friends, they were young individuals, it was your neighbor. That hit us hard. But we pulled through. We continue to keep all safety precautions. We've never stopped. I think it's good to continue it just in general. In the future, we don't know what the future will bring. So we are now accustomed to these safety precautions, and we'll carry on with them. How do I handle my day job and being a mayor? As I mentioned, I have an amazing team in my administration, and I delegate, and you have to delegate. My day job I absolutely love. I work in disability inclusion in all aspects of our firm, so I absolutely enjoy my job. It is demanding, but you have to put yourself on a schedule, and you have to know, you know, what your priorities, what has to get done, and then it's the same thing with being a mayor. And you have to rely on your people, your colleagues, your team. That's how I get through. And then I also make it very, very important that I make time for myself. So every so often, I take just a day for myself, disconnect, re-energize, regroup. That's very, very important. And you know, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't do that, because as everyone knows, we live in a fast-paced world. We're very busy. And if we don't take the time, you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, things fall through the cracks. You want to make sure that you are always as best as you can be. So my time on the East Newark Volunteer Fire Department was absolutely amazing. There were 5 women at the time, which today we only have 1 in our department, and I definitely want to recruit more women. It was a time where women weren't on the fire department. They weren't even on the career path for firefighters. I actually myself took the firefighter's exam and passed it, but again, at that time they weren't readily or quickly hiring women as career firefighters. It was exciting to me because you need to learn to work together. You don't know what situation, whether it's a brush fire, a house fire, a roof collapse, you have to trust the people that you're with. And I think for my male colleagues, they learned, wow, these women can do it. They can carry a hose, they can drive an engine, they can drive a truck. And we, many of us grew up together, we knew each other, so it made it a little bit easier. But I think that the women, we impressed the men because we stood up. We didn't ask for shortcuts. We didn't, say, oh, I can't do this because I'm a girl. And I think they respected that. And I think as long as you do your best in whatever you do, you'll always succeed. So where is East Newark now, and where do I see it in the future? I think East Newark now is becoming the community that many of us who grew up there loved, which is that tight-knit community, that diverse community. It's still very diverse. It's different cultures, different languages, but the people always come together. We have introduced community events from our tree lighting to our, flag raisings. We are really getting the people to come out and really know each other. What I see in the future for East Newark, progression. I think that our development needs to get done. We need to economically provide jobs for the people that work there. It really can be a walkable town, and it should be. And we are looking to obviously develop, bring employment in. We are looking and very excited for a new park, a riverfront park that's coming to East Newark. We have obviously great restaurants. We have Top's Diner, which everyone is a famous diner in New Jersey. And we really just want to make it almost like that little Hallmark community that you see in the Hallmark movies. And we're getting there. We're getting there. I also want to see more involvement from our youth. I want to see more involvement from the young girls and the young boys. I'm not going to be mayor forever, and I want to build a successor. I want to build a succession team, and that's why I want to bring in young, bright minds, because someone's going to have to lead and carry on all the good work that we're doing. Some of the favorite places I like to eat in town is our Portuguese restaurant Picnic and the world famous Top's Diner. They're 2 of the best. So if you ever can make it out into East Newark, those are the 2 best places to stop in. Thank you for having me today, and I hope the answers to your questions provided a spark in civic engagement. If you're curious about my journey, or you want to learn more or get involved, reach out to the Borough of East Newark. I'd be happy to sit down with you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.